Hi everybody and welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. Today's video is going to be a tutorial on how to get the perfect foundation, contour and highlight. When it comes to foundation, highlighting and contouring, everyone has their specific way of doing it. I'm not saying that my way is the right way, it's just what works for me. I'm just going to try and show you my techniques and what I do, and if you can apply it to your own foundation routine, then perfect. If you've learned something new, even better. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go in with the Lancôme Paris LA based Pro Perfecting Makeup Primer. And I have actually used this product before and it's stunning. I absolutely love it. It's like rubbing gold all over your face. Everyone seems to rave about Benefit Professional and it is really good, but I prefer this one. So I'm just going to take this and put it on any areas I want blurred or filled or smoothed out, and then just slowly start rubbing it in, working it into the skin. And I'm concentrating it on my forehead and under my eyes more because that's where my pores are largest. Now just before I apply the foundation on my face, these are the brushes I got the other day. They were, I think, £2 or £3 off of Amazon, and I'm a massive fan of anything that's cheap and that works. There was 8 brushes and they mainly seem to be for foundation and powder. There's a few eyeshadow brushes as well, and if you can notice any glitter on my face, it's because I did have a little play before, but just with the eyeshadow brushes, and they are actually really good. Not the best I've tried, but for £2 or £3 they're not going to be as good as like MAC or Morphe or Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the number 7 Stay Perfect foundation. It's medium coverage, it lasts for up to 24 hours and it's got SPF 15 in it. I have actually used this foundation before in a different shade, so I'm hoping that this doesn't go on too dark or too light. It smells kind of like Play-Doh, but who didn't love a bit of Play-Doh when they were a kid? I have noticed that you do need about 7 pumps, and that's just not me being extra. I put on 3 pumps before and that only covered like half of my face. Just a little bit on the eyes. Now I'm just using my damp beauty blender to buff all of this in, and so far it's looking pretty good. When it comes to the forehead, I like to not put as much foundation on there just because I feel like it doesn't need it, it can look very cakey. Whereas when it comes to places like under my eyes, my chin and my nose, I just like to put on a little bit extra just for coverage, because that's where I can have my problem areas. And that can apply to you if you have problem areas like dark circles or blemishes. More foundation is going to help you. Now for concealer today, I'm taking the Maybelline New York Fit Me Concealer in the number 15. I don't know whether it has a particular shade or that's the number, but I just got this the other day and I'm a bit of a cheap queen. Like, I really do love cheap products that work, and I've been using, I think it's Collection or Collection 2000 concealer as a boy, or when I've gone out at night and I've done like more elaborate makeup looks, and it is just the perfect liquid concealer. It blends perfectly, it's got great coverage, but I have heard amazing things about this, so hopefully it'll be just as good. And I'm just going to start by placing it under the eyes because I have horrific dark circles and I just want them to be covered. And before I put any concealer anywhere else, I just want to blend this before it starts to dry, because I used to put concealer on my entire face and then by the time I'd got to the last part that I'd put concealer to blend it out, it would have dried, and oh, it's not cute. Oh, I've got something in my eye. Okay, as for the other areas I'm highlighting, I'm going to do the centre of the forehead. And I'm not only using this concealer to cover up any dark circles or blemishes, I'm also using it to bring areas forward. Wherever you put the lighter colours, it's going to bring that area forward. And as for contouring, that's going to make them sink back, so you're going to become a lot more sculpted, and you're going to emphasise the things that you want people to see and recede things that you don't want people to see. Then just pop in some concealer on the chin, and then go back in with your BFF Beauty Blender and just blend that out. Now as for the nose, you want to use the sharper point of the Beauty Blender, because if you use the fat end, it's going to make the concealer spread and it's going to give the illusion of a really fat nose, and that is the last thing you want. You might want a fat nose, but I don't. So next I'm going in with contouring, and I've got the NYX Cream Highlight and Contour Palette. And I actually did some research on this product yesterday, and a lot of people with a lot of different skin types said that it's quite hard to apply and hard to blend. Apparently it drags and can lift your foundation sometimes. And I saw a lot of people using argan oil to make the product a little bit more creamy and easier to blend. What I'm going to do is just spray my brush with some NYX Matte Finish setting spray and just go in and pick up some of that product. And I'm just going to start by going on the outer perimeters of my forehead, because they're the places that I want to add more contour to try and recede it down and not make it look so massive. I've used the brush enough. I'm just going to go in with my Beauty Blender and just try and make those edges a little more seamless. Now I am a massive fan of a decent nose contour, and not so much in the day, because I feel like under daylight you're just going to see two brown smudges, but at night time under the lights and on camera it just looks amazing. It slims it down. And I don't have a particularly massive nose, but I do just like to define it and sculpt it a little bit more. And then repeat the same process on the other side and connect it all. Now if you're a Drag Race fan, you'd know, or you should know, who Magnolia Crawford is. Not the most memorable queen, but she had one of the most memorable nose contours on Drag Race history ever. She's up there with Raven, although Raven's was good. And you don't want to bring it in too much so it looks like a skinny little beak. You just want to make sure it's sculpted and defined and even on both sides. And then once you've laid down enough cream evenly on both sides, you're going to take your damp Beauty Blender once again and just start to buff those edges out. Now for cheeks, I'm going in with that same contouring palette and just loading up the brush once again, and then pinch the brush just so it's skinnier, and then just start to drag it down my face. And you want to apply quite a bit of pressure at the top of the cheekbone, but then when it gets to about halfway between your cheekbone, sideburn and your mouth, just sort of lift off, and then just repeating the same process on the other side. And then what you want to do is just take a little bit more product and bring it up. Never drag it down, because it's going to make it look muddy and you're going to have no definition. You just want to start to bring the product up. And then we're going to go back in with the Beauty Blender and just start to clean up those edges and make it look more blended and seamless. Now another little trick I like to do, just to try and make the line under my contour a little bit more defined and sharp, is go back in with that Maybelline Fit Me concealer and just apply a bit underneath. And by putting that concealer there and blending it down, it's going to create a contrast between the light and the dark and make the cheekbone look a little bit more sunken. Now for powder, I'm going to take my Makeup Gallery Smoothly Does It Pressed Powder. That's a mouthful. Giggity. This is a translucent powder and I'm just going to go over the entire face. My entire face. Now that I've used powder to set my foundation, highlight and contour, I'm going to go in with contour shadows and start to add that dimension with powder. So I'm going to go in with the NYX contouring powder. This is in the shade Sculpt, and I got this from the NYX shop in Selfridges about 3 weeks ago, and it is fantastic. It's literally just like the cream as well. It's the same shade, it's very subtle, and I'm just going to start to add that wherever I've contoured. And now that I've contoured, and now that I've powdered my forehead with the powder contour, I'm just gonna use an angle brush just to start bringing back my cheekbone contour. Now I'm just going to go in with a big fan brush and just go over that contour just to make sure it's blended in, it's blended upwards, but it doesn't appear too sharp on the face. And now to bring my nose contour back, I'm going in with another blending brush. I think this is for eyes, but I'm just going to use it for the nose. I'm going to go back in with that same Sculpt NYX contouring powder. And just go over where you put the cream on your nose before. Now for my favourite part of makeup ever. You can put all the rhinestones on, all the glitter, all the eyeshadow, all the foundation, but this is my favourite thing in the entire world, highlighting. I'm just going to take the Sleek Solstice palette, which I picked up at the same time as my NYX contouring powder. I got straight home, used them and fell in love. Now with this palette, in the top left hand corner you get a cream highlight, which you put down first and then you put the powder over top of it. So I'm just going to go into the cream and load up my brush and then put this where I want to highlight. I think it's pretty standard for everybody where they put the highlight. It tends to be on the top of the cheekbones, just so when you turn your face they illuminate. On the bridge of the nose. I like to put some on my cupid's bow, which is kind of pointless considering I have like a bit of a moustache, but it's so pretty. And then I like to put a little bit just between my highlight and my contour, just so when you turn your head it catches the light and you've got like a natural inner glow. Now taking a different brush, I think this is actually a bronzing powdering brush, but it's going to load up a lot more product and that's what I want. And I'm going to go in with the bottom left lightest shade and just start bringing that on the cheeks. Look at that. Now just to add a little bit more dimension before it's all finished, I do like to bake a little bit. And I got the Coty Airspun recently, and I'm just going to take a little makeup wedge and just apply it to areas I want to bring forward a little bit more. But this powder isn't going to stay on for very long at all. You're talking 20 seconds or so. Taking a clean brush, just brushing that back. And now I'm just taking a wet wipe, getting rid of any product that's on my lips, because we're not in high school anymore, and foundation concealer lips, they were never a good look. I'm just going to take the NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray and put that all over my face. And that, guys, is the end of the tutorial. I am so happy with how it turned out, and I hope you had a good time. I enjoyed making it, and I hope you've learned something new or taken some tricks. Thank you so much for watching. I'm always so grateful, and I will see you all later.